Hi, I'm Jennifer Battaglino, a licensed psychotherapist in the state of New York. I've been in practice for over 10 years now and working with tinnitus sufferers for about 7. I wanted to take a moment to talk to you about suffering from tinnitus and the fact that you can do something about it. I generally work with people who are suffering from tinnitus at a moderate to a severe level. This can mean anything from intermittent noise where they're hearing it at times and actually having moments of relief, times when they don't hear it, whether it's quieter or insignificant, or times when they're so focused on something else that they're distracted enough to not hear the tinnitus. So with that said, I've heard way too many times someone comes in and says, you know what, I don't know how much longer I'm going to be able to do this. And we all know what that means. It means that they're actually contemplating the option of ending their life instead of continuing on. No one should suffer from tinnitus, let alone anything else in this world, enough to actually contemplate or even believe that ending their life is better than continuing to live. With that said, there are options. Each and every day there's more treatment options coming out to try to reduce tinnitus, put you in remission, help you in some way. But how do you know what's going to help and what isn't going to help? The first thing is to educate yourself. Do your research and make sure that anyone that you deal with is a qualified, experienced practitioner. Whether it's a doctor, a therapist, an audiologist, an ENT, find someone who has had experience with tinnitus and and even better, has had success with tinnitus. With that said, what are the most effective treatments out there? So right now, in my opinion, if there's no emotional response, meaning if you're not experiencing the anxiety and the depression and the panic and the fear and the anger and that everything else that moderate to severe tinnitus can evoke out of someone, perhaps getting a device, doing some sort of sound therapy would help. There's natural remedies. Although there's less data, empirical data, double-blind studies on the natural remedies, there's patient reports where people say, I took ginkgo, lipoflavonoids, zinc, and I got well. The volume went down, or I went into remission. It could be any of those, any of the above. So there's natural remedies. There's sound therapies out there. There are mental exercises, whether it's aerobics, self-hypnosis, guided meditation, to help distract and dissociate the brain or the mind from the sound, the unwanted sound, that sound that your brain is generating that you're not supposed to hear. There are ways to improve your situation, to get your life back. Now, if there is an emotional response, panic again, anxiety, fear, depression, all those things that come with tinnitus when it just keeps beating at you and going at you and wearing you down. When it comes to that, everything I just mentioned is an option, but I would lean more towards, actually I would recommend a multimodal approach. Look at all these other options, and nothing of what I've already spoken about will contradict one another. But the idea is that you can also add a psychotherapeutic approach, specifically hypnotherapy. What I have found is when there is an emotional response to tinnitus, and it turns into a vicious cycle, the tinnitus evokes the anxiety, the depression, the isolation. Oh, what if I go out and I make it worse? What if I do something to make it worse? And you tend to isolate yourself. Well, the other side of the coin is when someone feels anxious or frustrated or depressed, the tinnitus seems to be exacerbated as well. So you see there's this vicious cycle. Hypnotherapy, specifically regression therapy, can help desensitize and reduce that emotional response so that it's easier to detach from the noise. Again, with the multimodal approach, you can be working on this while you're doing everything else that you know is helping you. Some of this is trial and error. You have to find what's right for you. It's a silly statement, but I'm going to say it. You know yourself better than anyone else. Do your research, find that qualified practitioner to consult with, whoever that is for you, that you've made a connection with, that you feel comfortable and confident in, and work from there. So whatever path you choose, just know that you have options. One option, if you'd like to know more about the causes, the treatments, the supplements, medications, all of the options that are out there, all the different devices, feel free to go to my website at theharwoodgroupny.com. I've put a link in the bottom corner of my channel. There you can find frequently asked questions. You can also find a link to the book that I co-authored with Dr. Kevin Hogan called Tinnitus Turning the Volume Down. But if you're suffering right now and you want to get well as soon as possible, which makes a lot of sense to me. If I were suffering, I'd want to get better as fast as I could. So if you're suffering now and you want to get well as soon as possible, you can also go to my website, and I offer a tinnitus treatment program that you can do at home, whether you want to receive the CDs or whether you want to download immediately to your computer and get started right away. It's available there. And if you find that you need more specialized treatment, you can also schedule an appointment. I work with people from all over via Skype, FaceTime, telephone, also obviously in person. So feel free to go to the website, email me with any questions you might have, or if you want to get started right away, look into the Tinnitus Treatment Reduction Program on CD. That's also available for immediate download. Thank you so much, and just know if you've gotten anything from this video, anything from what I've said, just know that there's hope and you have choices, you have options that can help you to get better, help you to get your life back. So all the best for turning down the volume.